The purpose of this video is to demonstrate VLookups. VLookups are very important when you are looking at a lot of information and want to bring different information together. So in this specific case, I'm going to look up using my UPC into a different worksheet to determine whether or not the chocolate is either dark white or milk chocolate. So to insert my VLookup, I'm going to go to Formulas, Lookup and Reference, click on VLookup, and it's going to bring the dialog box for function arguments. The first is the VLookup value, which again we talked is the UPC. So that's my unique identifier to match the two worksheets on. The next is what's called the table array. This is where am I looking for the information? Where is it that I'm going to gather this data from? And this always is going to include the information that you want to populate the field that you're putting the formula in as well. So in my case, I actually want the UPC as well as column D. So rather than try to scan down this entire worksheet, which as you can see is fairly large, I've got over 11,000 rows, I'm just going to click on the top left hand side to select everything. The next is the column index number, and then that is the number of the column that I want to get, what information I want to put in that field. So I'd said it's column D. I need to put it by number, so I'm going to type in 4. And the next is the range lookup. This basically deals with whether or not you've found the information. So if that UPC exists, I'm going to put the information that's column 4, but if it doesn't exist, what do I want to do? So what I would typically do is just type in false, and then what that does is populates the field with an NA, meaning not applicable, didn't find it, or not available. Okay, hit OK, and there we go. I have the information. Now I want to copy this column down, so I double click, and lo and behold, I get a reference error. With reference errors, it's always best to take a look at the formula and determine where is it within the formula do I have an error. And as you can see, it's given it within the table array, and that is because I have chosen as the table array to select everything. So what I need to do to fix that is actually make that constant, because what Excel is doing is actually trying to change it for every row that I'm copying down. So I use the dollar signs to keep that information constant in my original formula, and then once again double click, and I have the information I'm looking for. And as you can see, it doesn't necessarily mean that we get all the data. There are a few that we may have to do some manual checks for to figure out what's going on there. But for the most part, you get a lot of information. It really all depends on the source you're using. So thank you. Hopefully that the VLookups are a little bit easier for you to do now. And hopefully you'll find a time to use it soon. Thanks.